Hello everyone, welcome to Out of Spec Guide. I'm Max, joined by my colleague Ryan today.
It's great to be here.
Great to be here. We're up in the mountains in the snow today, and no, we're not skiing. This is Eldora. It's one of the nearer ski resorts to the Denver metro area. Ryan, there's something interesting going on here.
Yeah, we have a massive installation of level 2 chargers, and it's here at a ski mountain, which I think is a really great use case.
We're going to talk about why it makes so much sense and also what's going on. There are 15 posts here, able to charge up to 30 cars peak. And you know, it's the middle of a weekday, not the kind of peak ski season you would expect. And yet there's 7 cars or 6 cars at least using them right now. So they're getting utilization. They seem to be making a big impact for EV drivers. So let's get into it. Maybe even if we run into someone who's going to talk to us, we'll talk to them about why it's cool to charge while you're skiing. So looking at this site here that Eldora, the ski resort, has set up, you have 15 charging posts able to charge up to 30 cars because each post has 2 outlets or 2 handles. And we'll get into what that actually means for limitations here. But off the bat, I want to say this is just so cool to see. And I think it makes a lot of sense for this use case because when people are going up to ski, they're going to spend a lot of time. And in the process of getting to that ski mountain, you're going to be losing range in an electric car. 1, it's winter. 2, it's cold. So you're going uphill to get to the mountain and might be a long way from where you live. You might be worried about range. Well, with Eldora, with the way they've set this up, it's not as much of a concern because it's like, oh, well, I have a charger here I can plug into. The way they've configured these chargers, they are free. But let's talk about some of the numbers, the charging speed, the limitations with the way this site and many ones like it are set up. So we'll flip around the camera and Ryan will tell you about that. Okay, Ryan, so let's give some context and numbers here. What power are these chargers providing?
These ones are set to 6 kilowatts. We've seen a few of them here and there limited to 5 kilowatts, but generally 5 or 6 kilowatts, which is okay. It's relatively slow for level 2, but it's decent. And to give you some context, I personally have a Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive, and it has a 60 kilowatt-hour battery. So using these 6 kilowatt chargers, it takes about 10 hours to get a full charge. However, that doesn't necessarily tell you the full story because these are also split power. So if you have 2 people plugged into the same post, you'll end up getting half the charging speed and double the charging time. So in my case, with my car, if you plugged in at 0%, it'd then take 20 hours to fully charge if you're sharing.
Yeah. And you're not going to be here that long when skiing, so 10 hours I think would be the limit. But also it's important to note, people probably will not be pulling in dead empty and expecting to charge with a full battery.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. It's pretty unlikely for people want to go from 0 to full all the way. And people are going to be here for minimum 4 hours, possibly 8 or more. And even if you're getting just 3 kilowatts, that's still an appreciable amount of charge that you'll get throughout the course of the day, and plenty for use throughout the rest of the day, I think.
Yeah, so it's kind of adequate for now. I think with larger battery vehicles like Rivians, whatnot, that also get worse efficiency, it starts to become somewhat less useful, especially when you're sharing the power there. So that's where we can get into like where newer hardware would be better. Ryan, what are we looking at here in terms of what they've chosen to install?
Yeah, these are ChargePoint CT 4000s, which are relatively old. It's fairly likely that you've seen them around parks, public areas. They're a very common charger and they're pretty good. However, they do have one very common flaw, and that flaw is this handle. They tend to break relatively easily, and at least at my local charger, they're constantly broken. I remember 3 out of the 4 had broken handles. They replaced all of them, and then within about a couple weeks, one of them was already broken. So it's definitely an ongoing problem. And to see that every single charger here has a working handle, at least to me, indicates they're taking maintenance extremely seriously and they're really on top of it, which is great to see.
Yeah, and that's not a given for every site that uses these, because I think, like you were saying, your experience is common to many people who've experienced this and will cast off like, oh, all of these charge point units are bad, or these stations are unreliable. It's more just a case-by-case basis. Why is it that you think this one is so well maintained?
It all comes down to the site host and how they choose to maintain it. Now, ChargePoint can just sell you this stall and that'll be the end of it, and then you're on your own. And then the site operator is in charge of all of the maintenance. Alternatively, you can opt in to have service and maintenance from ChargePoint, and they'll make sure that everything's running and take care of any problems as they happen. However, I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to the site host making sure that everything's working and being on top of it.
All right, so we run into a real life skier who just happened to be getting back into her very tastefully adventure kitted Polestar 2. This is Stephanie with me on camera. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on. So, one, you seem to be using these chargers here at Eldora and appreciating it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You, though, ski at a lot of places, and I know you were telling me that at some sites you don't have reliable charging.
Yeah, so I go up to Summit County a lot, and the problem there is that not all the ski resorts have chargers yet. Breck's done a great job at getting a lot of chargers in their new parking facility. But if I just want to charge on the fly and do a fast charge, there's really only one option for non-Tesla owners, and that's the ones at the Walmart in Frisco. And half the time I go there, either they're full or half of them are down. So it seems to be that those units are broken a lot of time, and that's been a little bit of a source of frustration. So I think people need to be aware when they do go get electric cars that, you know, the fast chargers aren't everywhere yet.
Yeah, and like you were saying, even when they are there, like those units, I think that Electrify America site has 4 posts. I mean, that's not a lot, even when all of them are working.
Yeah.
And then you got 1 or 2 down, and everyone, you know, wants to quickly fill up. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
So I guess in an ideal world, right, we would have these slower level 2 chargers like we have here, and the fast charging.
And the fast chargers,
you live close by, like here in Netherlands, where we're filming. So do you use fast chargers regularly?
No, most of the time I'm able to just charge at home.
Yeah.
The only time that I need to use it is when I do go up to Summit County in the winter. And that's when I'll typically want to hit a fast charger. And it's been a source of frustration that those are often not working properly.
Yeah. So if you're taking like a half day skiing, I imagine 4 or 5 hours, it's probably nice to have this as a confidence boost of like even, you know, you might have to not visit the fast charger if you can get appreciable charge while you're out for the day on one of these.
Yeah. For instance, last Friday I skied at Breck for, I don't know, 4 hours and just charged in their parking lot, and it gave me enough charge to get home. So that was perfect.
Wow.
I'd love to encourage more ski areas to get a good array of chargers set up for their clients.
That's awesome. And lastly, you know, I just want to talk about this specific site at Eldora, right? There's 15 posts. All of them seem to be pretty well maintained. At Breckenridge, is it a similarly sized installation? Is it larger or smaller?
I'd say it's maybe a tad bit smaller, but I don't want to say without knowing for sure. I know there's a decent amount of charge. I want to say there's at least 10.
Oh, and do they get filled up like when it's busy?
Yeah, I imagine they do. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So ski areas should have these chargers, and I think they need to build a lot of them as more and more folks like you adopt electric cars, and you know, we want to charge them in winter with less range. Thank you so much for joining me on camera, Stephanie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
Well, that was really cool to hear from Stephanie and to just see such a well-developed charging site at Eldora. Clearly, there is a need for these level 2 chargers. And as we touched on, DC fast charging and that unreliability of the non-Tesla network is a topic that we've covered a lot and have to cover more. But as a supplement or as a fill-in or just having it at all, level 2, these chargers are so important. And I really just appreciate having a site that is actually working. Later on this winter, have to go to A Basin or Breckenridge and other sites and see what those charging setups look like. I suspect this is one of the best ones, given how there's 15 posts, and that's the most that I've seen locally. But if you know of something that's bigger in your area, or maybe you're European and this seems all silly to you and you are used to very large, both fast charging and level 2 installations, well, let us know in the comments and give some context there. But as an American living in Colorado, where for a while it's been tough for an electric vehicle in winter, I like seeing this. It's so nice. These chargers are again 8 months old, but we need more like this. Thank you for watching this video. I've been Max, again, my colleague Ryan filming me and joining me in this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.